It should come as no surprise that my observation of our world is that we are more divided than I could ever remember in my life. Whether it's our society, our politics, whatever area of life we think about, there seems to be this incredible division. And it's so bad that when certain topics are raised, immediately people go to their extremes. Listen only to those with whom they agree and refuse to cross over and somehow dialogue and find something better. And while we know this is definitely the case in politics, we've also got this problem in the Catholic Church. And at the very top of the list of the most divisive issues is marriage. There is no issue that seems to divide us today that cause uncertainty, questions, doubt, and challenges about what the future of our church should look like. And so the problem can be explained this way, because as we heard in our readings today, there is almost no teaching, no doctrine, no idea that has been more clearly defined, explained, and commanded than what Jesus said about marriage today. There's almost nothing that we have literally in such black and white clarity as this issue. But as much as Jesus was very, very clear on what his intentions for marriage were, he was even more clear about his intentions, his demands, and his command that we as a community be a haven of welcome, of compassion, of mercy, of understanding, that anyone, no matter how broken, how bruised, or how difficult their life is, no matter where they are in life, they must find a compassionate home here. So what do you do? On one hand, it seems as if there are some who say, well, that is it. Jesus said it, and if you can't live up to it, if you can't conform to that teaching of marriage, well, then you're kind of out of luck. Yeah, you can come to church. We'd love to have you, but you probably really shouldn't fully participate, they say. Then on the other hand, there are some who say we need to rethink all of this because we've got to be that compassionate church. We can never give up on compassion, on mercy. We must be a community that sets the example for the rest of the world for welcoming and for loving everyone, no matter where they are. So what do we do? Compromise? Is that the solution? Do we look for some sort of mitigated middle ground? No. Absolutely not. We cannot compromise on our faith. We are disciples of Jesus Christ, and as such, we must submit to what he clearly taught, both on the issue of marriage and on the issue of compassion. There cannot be a middle ground here because we would never dare give up either of those. Is there a third way? Is there maybe something that we haven't thought of yet, a third option? And there is. It's a prayer that you have heard prayed every single Sunday, every single Mass that you have ever attended. Do you know when we stand for the Our Father, some folks are holding hands, some folks try not to hold hands. And then after the Our Father, there's a prayer that you pray and the priest responds. And then there's another prayer, and then yet another, it's this back and forth. You know that part of the Mass? Yes, this is easy. The second prayer that the priest says, right before the sign of peace. The Lord said to his apostles, "Peace I leave you, my peace I give you. not on our sins, but on the faith of your church. And there it is. The third way. Look not on our sins, but rather see the faith of the church. Father, when you look at us, don't see our brokenness. Don't notice our sin. Rather, please, in place of us, see our brother Jesus Christ. There is no summary of the entire history of salvation more compact than those words. When you look upon us, don't see our sin, see the love of Jesus Christ. Because remember, this is the whole point of our faith. God entered our world to save us from sin. And the way that he did that was that he actively took upon himself all of our sin, all of our guilt. He took our place. And on the cross, he suffered the consequences for the mess and the brokenness in our lives so that we wouldn't have to look not upon our sin, but rather look upon the faith of your church. And it's this gift of salvation, this free, unconditional gift that's offered to all, not just some, everyone. This free, unconditional gift that is intended to take away all sin, not just some sins, but all sin. Look not upon our sins, but on the faith of your church. Father, when you see us, don't see our imperfection, see his perfection. When you look upon us, don't see our mess, see his righteousness. Look not upon our sin, but on the faith of your church. And it's by faith that we receive this free gift. It's by faith that we know the grace of salvation. No one here is perfect. We all say the prayer. And so the third way would illuminate for us the idea that it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how messed up your life is. It doesn't matter if your life, your family is torn apart by divorce, remarriage, or any other form of heartache. I would even propose to you, there are some who long to be faithful Catholics in our church who are members of the LGBTQ community who say, as the first line says, it's not good for us to be alone. I've heard people say to me, Father, I can't be alone. Am I still welcome? Look not upon our sins, but see the faith of your church. This is the third way. With passionate devotion, we surrender nothing that Jesus gave us in the gospel. We are faithful to everything he taught. But we don't pretend that to be a disciple we have to be perfect. We don't have to create a community where in order to belong, you've got to be perfect. Rather, with great authenticity, with great love, with great faith, we say, look not on our sins, but rather the faith of your church.